Happy Christmas! Trust me when I say your Harry Potter Christmas craft DIY loving heart is about to grow 3 sizes. We are going to go on a craft journey together. I'm going to show you all the things I made. It's super simple to do. You can interpret this in any way you wish. It does not even have to be Harry Potter themed, but it's just a fun, elegant, tasteful way to add a little sparkle to your windows and yeah, have fun. 'Tis the season, right? Crafts and whatnot. First up are these 3D book page stars. You obviously need a book, okay? This can be any book. You're also going to need some way to cut the book pages. And lastly, you'll need some way to attach all of these pieces you're going to create. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is open your book and do what no book lover wants to do, and that is rip out a bunch of pages. Now that you have some individual pages to work with, you want to cut each of these into a square. You can just take your book page, fold the top corner down so it meets the edge of the paper and fold it. Then you're going to cut this excess off the bottom. If you want a bonus craft, save all of your offcuts and you can turn these into a little paper chain. Each star needs 5 points, so you want to repeat this process for as many stars as you would like, times 5. Now that you have your folded squares, you're going to need to turn these into the 3-dimensional points that we will assemble into a full star. So take one of your pages and you're going to do a little origami here. You've got your crease, that's your reference point down the middle. So you're going to fold each side in, kind of like you're doing a paper airplane. So you should have this little excess triangle at the bottom. Then you're gonna fold that up and kind of close in your triangle. Then you're going to take those 2 bottom points and you're going to fold each of those up. Once you're done, you should have what looks like this oblong diamond shape. Nothing's been glued, it's all just folded. But if you're holding it together, it should look almost like a kite. Repeat that same process for all 5 points. Once you have sets of 5, you can work on gluing them together. You're going to unfurl the 2 flaps that you folded last at the bottom, and you'll see this subtle folded diamond shape in the center. That little diamond is what you're going to add the glue to. Once you've applied your glue, you're gonna fold those 2 flaps back in so that you're back to that elongated diamond shape. Now, because you've only glued to that outside flap, you'll see you've got this sort of 3-dimensional fold that pops out now. So you want to repeat this same process for all 5 points. Now that you have 5 of these little 3-dimensional points, we're going to glue them together to create the star shape. So you're gonna take one of your points and you're gonna turn it on its side and you'll see this skinny little triangle here. That's where we're going to apply the glue. Now you'll take another star and you're gonna match those 2 triangles together. You've got these nice little pockets on the inside where you can press the sides together so you've got good adherence. From the outside, you can see our star shape starting to form. If you flip it over, this is where we're going to glue the next point to. You just want to do one side at a time. So apply your glue, take your next point, match up those triangles, press them together, making sure they're aligned well from the front, and keep working your way around. Once you have 4 points aligned, you can see I'm kind of folding and pinching them together to keep that opening where we're going to glue the last point in. This time, you're going to add glue to both of these triangles because now we need to close the loop and glue it together on both sides. You can go around and just press each of your folds on each point so that you have a nice sharp star. And there you have it, a finished 3D book page star. You can repeat this process and make as many of these as you want. You can do them at different sizes. You can mix this with book pages and solid colors or patterns. The possibilities are endless. Project number 2 is creating these little Hogwarts envelopes. They're actually miniature. The size is 4 bar if you're familiar with envelope sizes. They're kind of like the mini ones that you might use for returning an RSVP from a wedding invitation. My envelopes were the most complicated method. So I'm not gonna walk through how I did these because it requires you to have a Cricut machine. It also requires you to have some understanding of digital design tools like Canva or Illustrator or InDesign. I will link you to a blog post that I followed to create my own custom envelope, including a font that the creator made, this little symbol that goes on the back of the flap, and a template for this custom like envelope shape. So all of that I just took from this person's blog post and kind of compiled myself in Illustrator, and then I used my Cricut print and cut feature to print the envelope out and cut the shape out exactly as I wanted. I will include the link to the blog post like I said, but there is an easier way to do this, and I'm gonna show you how to do it that way. You're going to need an envelope. You can order a pack of these, whatever size you want. These mini ones are called 4-bar envelopes, or you can find any envelope you have sitting around your house. It could be something you just found in the mail, and you can carefully disassemble it and create a template. To do that, you're just gonna take your envelope and carefully undo it. So take apart the glue, try not to rip the paper too much. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to maintain like the overall shape of the flaps. Once you unfold it, it should look something like this. It might be bigger, it might be smaller, but essentially you've just created yourself an envelope template. You're going to take this, you're going to set it on top of whatever paper you want to create a new envelope out of. I chose this thin translucent paper because that's what I have in my closet, and you're going to trace it. Once you have it traced, cut it out. Now that you've got your envelope template, you're going to fold your flaps in. So anywhere you've got 2 corners, that's going to be where you want to fold in. Everything is going to fold in the same direction. How simple was that? Super easy to do. I would recommend going with a thinner paper if you can. Like, don't pick your heaviest cardstock because it's just harder to fold. If you're using a transparent paper like I am, this is called vellum, you're gonna wanna stuff your envelope. I just cut out some like parchment colored paper I had. That way when we write on the front and put the wax seal on the back, you can't see through it. But if you're using a solid colored envelope, then you don't need to put anything in it because it's not see-through. You will want to glue down your flaps so they're not flopping around. So now I've got my lower flaps kind of all secured, I've got my envelope stuffed, and I'm ready to put an address on it, okay? So obviously I used the font, which looks very much like the address that you see kind of in the movie, but it doesn't have to look like that, okay? It's just like, this is a display from afar. We just want to give the vibes of the Harry Potter Hogwarts letter. It doesn't have to be perfect. So if you don't have access to this font, or you're not able to kind of design your own on your computer, just take a black pen or a marker and write it. As you can see, not perfect, but it's fine. It's all going to blend into the display. Now you can see on mine that I printed, I have this little like symbol on the back. That I'm gonna skip. I don't think we need it, it's totally fine. But the cool part is obviously the wax seal, so we're gonna add that next. To do the wax seal, I'm going to use my wax seal gun. This looks very similar to a hot glue gun, but it's low temperature. So it only works for the wax sticks, which you can buy in pack. If you don't have this, you can just buy these little like meltable wax sticks and use a lighter and just kind of like hold it over the spot with the flame kind of melting the wax. Let the wax drip onto the envelope wherever you want to do the stamp, and then take your wax seal stamp and push it into the melted wax. If you just do like one-off wax seals here and there, this works perfectly fine. I just have this because I used to do it more in bulk, and it's a lot faster if you have a gun heating up the wax for you. Obviously the last thing you'll need is this little wax seal stamp. I will include a link to this one. This is like the Hogwarts seal, but you could do anything. It doesn't have to be this because again, nobody's looking at it this close, but if you want to be authentic and you want to be Harry Potter-y, you could get this. Otherwise, you can just do whatever wax seal you have, or you could just do a glob of wax and let it dry and not press anything into it. It's all about the visual from afar. And there we have it. It's not perfect, but that's okay. Every little wax seal has its own personality. And now our little envelopes are ready for hanging. The last thing we're going to be making is this gold star garland. I cut the paper stars out on my Cricut. I just found a star template and I cut a whole sheet of them on like a 12 by 12 sheet of scrapbook paper I purchased from Michael's. So when I took it out, it was just a full sheet of stars, which made it really easy to pop them out and create this garland. If you don't have a Cricut, you can either find a star shape and size you like, print it out on your home printer, cut that out and use that to trace onto the gold paper or whatever you want to cut your stars out of. Or you can purchase a star punch and just use that to punch stars out of whatever paper you want to use. Basically, you just want to cut out a whole bunch of stars, They can be whatever size you prefer. When making this garland, I glued 2 together, back to back. If you want to do double-sided stars, you're going to need double the amount to make sure you can cover the whole length of string that you would like to hang somewhere. Once you have your pile of stars, you just need some kind of thread, string, ribbon, anything to use as your connecting element. I chose to use a thick thread, but only because that's all I had in my craft closet. I think it would actually be a little bit easier and less likely to tangle if you use something a bit thicker. You don't want to go too thick because if you're double-siding your stars, it'll be kind of hard to press them together. But even a thin ribbon or something that's a little more substantial than this tiny piece of thread will work fine. Now, I'm gonna show you how to do it on this, but the process will be exactly the same regardless of what kind of string or thread you use. I've got my glue gun here. It's all heated up. Make sure you're using a glue gun and not a wax gun. I've also got my thread here and a cutting mat with measurements on it. So what I'm going to do is leave a little extra tail off to the side here. Take 2 stars, put a dab of glue on the inside of 1 star, slide that underneath the thread and drop the thread right in that dot of glue. And then take your second star and sandwich the glue and the thread or the ribbon between the glue and the other star. So now we've got a star that's attached to our string. To kind of roughly measure out the space between them, I use the measurements on my cutting mat here. So I place the tip of the star at the 3 line, and then I'll add some glue to the next star and slide that in so one of the tips touches the 7 line. So I know roughly there's about 4 inches from tip to tip. Then I'll take another star, sandwich it in the hot glue, and now we've got 2 stars on our thread. So I'm gonna keep going through that process. Once everything's glued, you'll have a little garland that looks like this. Now again, reminder, if you're using a really thin thread like this, it will tangle. And I know this from experience because I spent 60 minutes untangling a garland I made yesterday, and I ended up having to cut the string because I could not figure it out. With all of these points and this thin thread, it just so easily gets all wrapped up and twisted. So just be careful and make sure if you're storing this or you're moving it around, you're being very slow and steady and not letting them all twist around each other, because you might end up just tossing it if you don't want to spend the time untangling it. But it looks really cute. I do think if you use a ribbon or a string, it will be a little less likely to tangle and probably more easy to manage. The nice thing about the thin thread is that it almost becomes invisible. So it really does just look like the stars are kind of dangling there, which I like the look of. Now, in order for these to hang effortlessly and elegantly from our window, we need to attach some sort of string. I use fishing wire. I like this because it essentially disappears into the background and doesn't disrupt your view when everything is hanging. I use this long sewing needle to thread the fishing line through the star and the envelope. I just found that easier. For the star, when you have your needle threaded, you're going to go from the front to the back and go right through the center. So there should be a tiny little hole that you can stick the needle into and then pull your line through. Once you get it through, I take the needle off and I tie the line around one of the seams. It should disappear right into that seam and you won't be able to see it from the front. And then I just tie a knot at the top. Once you have that knot tied, just stretch a nice long length out and then cut it. You want to be somewhat generous so that you can kind of vary the length of these once you hang them up, and you'll trim any of the excess once everything is tied together. For the envelope, I'm going to take my threaded needle, pick one of the top corners, just poke the needle through, pull the fishing line through that hole, take my needle off, and then just tie a knot. I double knotted it so that it doesn't come loose, and then trim off this little extra tail. Just like the star, you want to pull a nice long length off of that knot you just made and cut it. We need something to hang all of that fishing line from, so I'm going to use a dowel and I'm going to install this at the top of the window trim here. To hang this, I'm going to screw these 2 cup hooks in to the top side on the left and right of this window trim. Then we can use some fishing line to hang off of those hooks and attach to the dowel. Now that we have the hooks installed, I'm going to take a couple of pieces of fishing line that I cut and tie them into a loop. I'm going to use this to tuck my dowel into and hang from the hook, but I will have to adjust this. So this is just kind of like a loose length for now. We'll get 2 of these installed and then we will adjust the knot at the top so that this hangs level and exactly as low as we want it to. Once you have your dowel hung and it's nice and level, grab your stars and envelopes with all of the fishing line attached, and you're gonna start tying these to the dowel. Make sure to hang these at different heights so it has some nice variation and movement. I only tie 1 loop, set them all up, make adjustments, and then I double knot them so they stay put. What do I want you? Once you have everything double knotted, make sure to cut off all of these loose tails. And there we have it, a finished, Christmassy, sparkly, Harry Potter inspired window display. Now you can repeat that installation process for all of the windows in your room like I have here. I'm so happy with how everything came out and I love how it looks with the light shining through the window. Thank you so much for watching and crafting with me. I hope this inspired you to craft a little bit of your own Christmas magic this year. Happy holidays, and I will catch up with you next time.